poison can slowly seep into your system and slowly affect you, or just kill you instantly. But, as a Pokemon typing, what should have happened? Well, that's exactly what we discuss on this episode of Type Talk. Welcome to the Void, everyone. TheElectricVoid here, and today on the second episode of Type Talk, here with Charnado300 as a special guest, we are talking about poison types.
Hello guys, I'm Charnado300, and I know quite a bit about poison types. My mascot is actually Toxicroak. It's fun.
Yep, so now let's get into it straight off the bat, or right off the bat. So what's the first thing you think of when you think of poison types? Probably Tentacool, but anywho.
The first thing I think of is technically like acid, which goes into like the first type difference that I think there should be. I think poison should actually be super effective against steel and not immune to it. The reason for that is acid would like melt through the steel, and poison in itself just like would melt through the steel, which would make sense to be super effective rather than immune.
Plus, I actually was going to bring up that point with toxic waste, which can easily take out entire structures, which is also, you know, made out of steel. So, I think the point of poison being immune to steel is actually, I don't know why they made it.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
I do think that poison needs... I personally think if anything would be immune to poison, it would actually be... Actually, what would you think?
I would think water. I know poison can like make the water like all toxic-y and stuff, but water kind of just like clean stuff. So if you are like covered in poison, you could clean yourself with the water, technically getting rid of it. So I think water should be the one that's kind of immune to it, at least not very effective. Poison should be not very effective against water. I speak weird English.
I was actually thinking about that, and I was actually thinking that it would either be not very effective or super effective, like no in between for that one, because...
Yeah, you could pull a side. You could pull either side if you want to. Yeah,
so for that one, I'm not really going to touch it as a affirmative. I'm going to leave that up to the comment section, but another thing I'm thinking about is if you look at some things about poison types, you'll see that ground and psychic are super effective to it. Now, Charnado, what do you think about that?
See, psychic, I don't understand it. Psychic, I don't understand. I mean, if you're going with the logic of psychic types, like can move it with his head, you can say psychic should be the most overpowered type in the game, being super effective to everything.
Hashtag Gen 1.
Yeah, hashtag Gen 1. Except for dark, because you can't really lift the darkness, so the darkness could kind of envelop it. But besides that, I think psychic is just one of those types that you can't really explain. But ground, however, if you like a fissure happens and like absorbs all the, I don't know where to go with this, then ground would be super effective against everything either. I'm really bad at this. But
as you can tell. Anywho.
Yeah. I'm very unprofessional.
So another thing with ground is if we're going with poison, so this is what I'm pretty sure, going back to the steel immunity, it would be, I think they're talking about like poison or venom. Neither of those could really penetrate a steel wall very well. I think that's what they were going for, but the poison type, looking at the Pokemon, seems to be more. Actually, I think it should have been named the Toxic type, because just look at any poison type Pokemon.
But then what about the move Toxic, TM06?
There's plenty of things you can do with that.
So you just still keep it as Toxic?
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that as well, though, because I mean, you could pull a side on this one, too. See, Toxic is basically poisonous poison. Fun, I know, very original. But poison type in itself is like, just, I don't know. Like, you could, the thing is, you can't toxic someone with like a venom sting. Like, that will probably paralyze or whatever. Which leads me to believe that Poison Fang should actually have a chance to paralyze, in my opinion. Well, because, you know.
This is something I find a little interesting, is poisoning in the game whittles your opponents down. And, if you think about it, that's actually not what most poisons do in real life. It whittles them down to slowly kill them in the games, while most poisons in real life either kill you pretty quickly, like, there are some that whittle you down, but they either would kill you pretty quickly, or not at all, so.
Yes, which also is just, this has nothing to do with type talk, but poison, like, the poison status element should have like an effect, just like how burn like halves attack and paralysis halves speed. Maybe like poison should like, this would make it too overpowered, but like have like defense or something like that.
That would make sense because if you are poisoned, your senses aren't around you and can easily be taken out.
Yes, but that would probably make poison overpowered, and toxic would be carried on every other Pokemon.
Yeah, but now let's go into just some more type weaknesses and everything. So, it's super, so ground I actually think kind of makes sense, except for like toxic waste again can actually like destroy the ground, but the ground could also soak it up and it wouldn't be able to get anywhere.
Exactly. Wait a minute. Poison is resisted by ghost or what? Why? Wait, does poison resist ghost?
No, ghost resists poison.
Ghost resists poison. Now, why? Why would that be?
Because poison, going back, let's go back to first gen, to get some details for this one. Poison is a physical type in the first games. Well, first through third generations, it is a physical type. Which would make sense because ghosts are paranormal and you can't really, hit them very much. And poisoning, like, could you imagine trying to poison a ghost? Nothing would happen to it. So, wouldn't that make ghost immune to poison?
Yeah, it would, but it still gets hit by it. But we're talking about current generation. Like, it's always, like, ghost has always resisted poison, but nowadays, past gen, I believe Gen 4 is where the type splitting is, like the...
Yeah, Gen 4.
Gen 4 is where the physical special split is. I think at that point, ghost types, like, in my opinion, like, physical or special moves should have different effect on different types of Pokemon. Because you could say, like, a physical move, like, if you were to stomp on a bug, would do a lot of damage. But if you were, like, to, like, I don't know, that still doesn't make any sense. But I'm just looking at it, like, certain types of moves, like physical or special, should do different to certain types of Pokemon. Because a physical move would normally do, like, would basically do nothing to a ghost. But if you, like, trap it with, like, a psychic move, then it would do a lot of damage.
Now, I'm just going to continue with some of these. Another thing, I'm actually pretty sure that, so I agree with poison being super effective to grass. And with fairy, you could go with, it taints the nature or whatever. But fairy types, they don't have to be a nymph or whatever. They could easily just be, a fairy. That, it could relate to just old fairies that tried to kill people in, like, older lore, so.
Yes, but the thing is, fairies are living, like, basically human-like creatures, and if you were to poison a living creature, which the psychic type is actually probably based off of a living creature being weak to normal human fears, being the darkness and bugs. So, I think poison should be super effective against fairy and psychic, because of the fact that since those are the two most human-like, I know fighting is in there, but really fighting is just more tough, not really human-like. But those two, poison should be super effective too.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, with mixing it up so bug is super effective to psychic, because psychic, it could be related to psychological, and which is why dark, because the fear of darkness is super common, as well as like the fear of spiders or whatever. But as for poison, I don't know about you, but I've actually, like, for a while when I was, younger, I would actually get creeped out, like, after watching, cop shows or whatever, and actually, like, check my dishes to make sure there was no poison or anything. By this I mean when I was 6, okay?
We're talking about when you're 6, not
like
current.
I've actually been.
I watch cop shows and I'm afraid of people breaking into my house. Okay.
Like I don't know about you, but anything like that actually like it's actually a paranoid thing that people do. Like kings would have people eat their food for them and then tell them if it was good or not.
True. Yes.
Like it's.
But don't.
Like
hashtag
for years.
problems. Hashtag rich people problems.
True. I don't know. So that could be super effective to it, or psychic is just removed off the board. Now, another thing I've been thinking about is, wouldn't poison be super effective to normal?
See, the thing about that is, normal isn't really, like, a type. It's more of, like, a filler. Which, this is, like, totally jumping off topic, but I don't think it should be normal and something else. I don't think it should be, like, normal and electric or normal and fire, as Pyroar and Heliolisk are, but normal should just be its own type, being just weak to fighting and stuff like that, because normal is more of a filler type about Pokemon that they can't really characterize.
Well, I actually disagree with that, because normal, is immune to Ghost, and Ghost is immune to normal, hinting that it's a normal being that cannot physically attack a Ghost, and the Ghost cannot physically attack it.
True. It is just like kind of the middle ground, I guess.
It could. The normal is pretty much just the ordinary type.
Yeah. Now, technically, would an ordinary person be poisoned? Like, I mean, it could happen.
Well,
but
if you get poisoned, it's not something you can easily get out of your system. Hence, why a lot of people are afraid of snakes.
Yep. Actually, there's some ways to get it out of your system. You could, like...
Yeah, not easily, though. It's not like something you could immediately just be like, oh, there's poison in my system, I'll take it out. That's not something you can easily do.
Actually, you could, like, stick a needle and, like, drain the poison out, but...
How many people keep doctor needles in their house?
How many people have cars and can drive to the doctors?
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, dating back, poison is just something people have always been afraid of. Like, like, not just, like, afraid of someone poisoning, like I was talking about earlier, but it could easily just be, like, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why people are afraid of snakes and spiders, pretty much.
Now, the thing is, they could just be, like, I know some people have, like, it's not really problems, but it's just people don't like the movement of, like, snakes, like, moving up and down, like spiders are, like, crawling and stuff. Like, that's what probably freaks people out more.
Yeah, most people I know, though.
Most people you know? You actually know people who are afraid of snakes because they can poison you. That is a very specific fear.
No, because they're dangerous, they're afraid of them.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
And I'm pretty sure poison should also be, super effective to, dang it, I lost my train of thought with that one.
Poison should be super effective, too. See, if you're going by that, by the way, we're just making poison types the type that everyone's going to be doing, and in most tiers, poison type's going to be Uber, because of what we're doing right now. But, poison, let's talk about poison not being very effective against rock. Now, that makes sense, in my opinion, because how rock kind of, like a poison, like, rocks are living things, so poison wouldn't affect them.
Yeah, that is very true. But another thing, I was actually thinking about this. Wouldn't fire be super effective to poison?
Yes, fire should also be super effective to poison, because it is known that people used to burn poison.
It's also, to get fumes out of a house, you use fire.
Yes. Also, when you're sick, steam is used to, like, help you breathe easier. Yeah. So technically, the sickness would be poisoning, steam, fire. All makes sense.
Yeah. So, which, like, it makes perfect sense in my mind, because I'm not sure about you, but for example, when there's a super bad smell in the house, you can light a match and it'll instantly neutralize a huge amount of it. Yeah.
Or, like, incense.
Yeah.
I like incense. Incense smells nice.
Yeah,
it's not a topic, but you know what?
No, this isn't Type Talk Incense episode.
Yeah.
Um,
Type talk and sounds. We have to do that.
okay, so, yeah, I think that wraps up this episode. Do you think so?
I think we covered everything.
Now, if you could understand what we covered, that would be useful, but...
Yeah.
I was also thinking about this, like, this is part of the reason why I started this series. I forgot to mention in the first episode, though. I'm creating my own Pokemon game, and I'm wondering if you guys agree with some of these things, this will change up the types in my actual game.
Yep.
Which
See,
will...
he is... Yep. I'm sorry.
Continue.
He's making his own game, and if you see a Tauros, you catch it. I'm just telling you that. I'm not giving you spoilers, but if you see a Tauros, you catch it.
I don't know what he's talking about. Anywho, okay, we are back. We forgot to do something in the original recording, and that was to give you the stats. So the ending is going to be in a second. Right now, we're just giving you the stats of what poison type should be. As for HP, I'm thinking a small, like, 6 out of 10. What do you think, Char?
I'm thinking around that as well, because it doesn't take that much to, like, get rid of poisoning. I mean, it does, but... Okay, this is one that you could be debated about, because it takes a lot to get rid of poisoning. But, on the contrary, some poisons you could get rid of very easily, so about an average 6 out of 10 does make sense to me.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 if you want to go higher, but I don't think any higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
As for attack, I'm thinking a powerful, like, 9 out of 10.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Mainly because attack is just all that the poison, like, how does it, like, hurt other people, like, through its, like, attack power? Like, if you were gonna, like, put it like that. Because it's, like, a very strong thing, poison. So it should be very strong.
I'm making poison types, like, this is actually pretty much what their stats are in game. I'm thinking around, like, 6 out of 10 for both defenses and HP, and 9 out of 10
I was thinking more 7 out of
attacks.
10. I was thinking more 7 out of 10.
Yeah, you could go with that. So I'm thinking, like, so
because, like, poison, like, envelops, like, buildings and stuff, so if you're, like, trying to, like, attack it, it doesn't really go away. so that's why I was thinking, like, more 7 out of 10.
So 6 or 7 out of 10 for the defenses, 9 out of 10 on special attack as well, because
it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. And then speed, I'm thinking also around 9 out of 10.
I was thinking more slower.
Really?
Actually, that's another one that you could make, like, average, because different speeds have to do with, like, different kinds of poisoning, like how fast they kill you. Because, like, some poisons are, like, instant kill, some poisons are, like, not really instant kill. It take a long time.
It could be I can't remember the name of one, but it could be like cyanide, which kills you almost instantly if you take it. While there's other poisons, or you could just go with, like, venom slowly. It usually slowly takes you out.
Yeah.
But not usually kills you, but
takes you out.
It can render you useless for a while, but... So I'm thinking... So, maybe 8 out of 10 for that one?
Yeah, probably 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Kind of like with the fences.
I'm thinking a bit higher, but that's just my thinking to make the type a bit better as well.
Yeah, you just want to make it overpowered. You just want to make it overpowered.
I'm actually thinking, the type... It's kind of like Toxicroak. Really good attack, but awful for taking any kind of hit. He just goes down.
You mentioned my mascot.
Dude, I made you a new mascot. Anywho,
No, we will never show that. We will never show that. That is not allowed to be.
Picture popping up right now. Okay, so...
No, it's not popping up.
So now, I'm the guy editing this video. So, okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was different than the other ones, but now I'll get you to our original ending right now. So... That wraps up this first episode of this new episode of Type Talk. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to join the Void today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, check out Charnado300 channel in the description below.